If you just seem to care a lot about what other people think about you, are they judging you, are they approving of you, if you get hurt easily by people's actions and words, even if it's just your friends or your family, the so called people whom you call your loved ones, if you worry too much because of external things, then this is the video for you. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. The value you're going to take away from today's video is a powerful emotional mentality shift that will preserve you from getting hurt from people, situations, etc. Because I know this is a serious thing people suffer from, where they get so hurt from what people say about them, think about them. So let's begin. If you haven't got the gist of what we're going to be talking about today, it's we're going to be talking about detachment. This is one of my favorite topics, and I probably preach about it in every single video of mine. So, first of all, we're going to address the common misconception about detachment. So, detachment is not hating somebody or being an introvert and just sitting in the corner or not caring about things. That's what people have made about detachment, that it is not caring. No, of course, if you're detached, it's not like you do not care. It's just that you're detached from situations where you don't hold any expectations from people. And when you don't have any expectations, people are not going to hurt you. You are not going to let them hurt you. Detachment is not about not talking to people, not going out, making connections, being with your friends, and talking, making new friends, right? It's not about that. It's simply that you're detached from, you have certain boundaries which you do not allow other people to cross, so that in turn you do not get hurt yourself. This is the most common misconception, where people think that detachment is just about not caring. Of course, you care. I'm detached, but I still care about people and I love people. It's not about having love vanish from your body. It's not about that. So take this limiting belief out of your mind, that if you're detached, you just do not care. You care about people, but you do not let them cross your boundaries, which now we'll understand what exactly is detachment. Once you know now that what is not detachment, we do not call not caring, okay, and hating and not talking to people, all of these things, we do not call it detachment. What detachment is in turn is certain boundaries you draw, so you don't allow people to enter those boundaries, because if they enter those boundaries, you tend to get hurt. You draw certain boundaries and you do not allow people to cross them. Some examples of such boundaries can be like where you're not accepting disrespect from the other person, right? If somebody is disrespecting you, you tell them that it is hurting you, and why are they even disrespecting you? Start questioning them and leave that space immediately. If you're detached, you will do that. If not, you will continue to listen to them, and you will affect your thinking, your confidence, and your mindset. Another such boundary can be external validation. You only self validate yourself. You only practice self validation. You do not go out and seek approval of other people. And if other people tend to give their approval, and they say, "Oh, you did not do this right, or you did not do this how this was supposed to be. We were expecting this from you. We were expecting that from you. You do not look pretty today. That outfit doesn't suit you." All of these external validation, you draw the boundary and you tell them. Or if you can't tell them, if you don't feel like, you don't want to go out and argue with them and justify yourself, if you know that they're not going to go out and listen, just instead just listen to them, okay? Because what else can you do if you can't just talk back to them and tell them that you don't want their approval at this point? Obviously, very politely, you have to say this. You do not go out and tell them. Then you have to just listen it and don't absorb it. I always say observe rather than absorb. Don't absorb what people are telling you or thinking about you. Just observe them, because yes, there may be a hidden learning in that, because God has many ways of teaching you and how you can take learnings out of things, so that what they're telling, it may be knowledgeable for you, it may provide a great learning for you. So if you're paying attention, you can actually find that learning. But otherwise, as I said, observe, not absorb. Don't take that personally, and don't take that to yourself as if, yes, that is the true reality. Listen to them and do of your own. We're going to be discussing more of this later. Another thing that detachment is, you are free from expectations. You do not put expectations on other people, because if you are putting expectations on other people to make you happy, right? You're dependent on other people, on situation. For example, you're dependent on your partner to make you happy, you feel loved, or you're dependent on a certain situation, that when I get rich, when I accomplish that, when I accomplish this goal, I am going to be super happy. You will never end up being happy. Do you know why? Because all of these points, when you're dependent on somebody, you're dependent on a situation. Let's say, for example, as I said, that you think you'll be happy when you achieve that goal. The journey accounts for so much more rather than the achieved goal or the achievement that you get at the very last, at the very end. The journey is the bigger picture you need to look at, because if you just decide that I'm going to be happy when I get that, you will end up being happy for just a small percentage of your life, because those kind of moments which you bound your happiness to, they account for a very less number of your life. It's the journey that is the longest, and that's what you need to start enjoying. And when it comes to people, you cannot fully trust anybody. Let's all be real in that fact, because you never know what the person might be thinking, because you don't have any mind reading abilities. And even if you do, some everybody has their own choices to make. They are not bound to you, or you are not bound to them. You have to realize and come to peace with the fact that nobody belongs to you. That is why you cannot put any of your expectation on other people to make you happy. You cannot depend on a certain trip to make you happy. You cannot depend on a certain friend to make you happy, because if you place expectations, you will end up getting hurt. So stop placing expectations, okay? Detach from all expectation. Detach yourself from physical expectation and mental, and stop being dependent on other people for your happiness, for your peace, for your love. Love yourself completely. Obviously, now this does not mean, as I said, the common misconception, now you're not going out and seeking for love from other people. Of course you're doing that, you're loving other people, you're caring about them, but there's a difference between loving somebody and being dependent on them to love you back. Do not depend, because when you depend, you're basically desperate for it. If you do not receive it, you will get desperate for it, and when you get desperate, the thing goes even farther away from you. So that is why, be detached from such expectations and don't depend on anybody. The only person you can depend upon on in this world is you yourself. Now, next thing is, don't put people's opinion on a pedestal. We have normalized this so much, where we're seeking external validation to such a point where we don't even know if we're proving ourselves every day. We are seeking approval from other people. I don't know, I don't get it why people do this, seeking approval from other people. Because doesn't this mean that the other person is controlling you rather than you controlling your own life? You have the switch of your life, you have the controller of your life. Why not go ahead and make it as how you want it to be, rather than giving that controller to other people, other situations as well? And how can external validation define you, because when you are the only person who knows you completely? I've said this always in every single video of mine, where I say that nobody can know you fully. Entire you, nobody can know, because you're not going out and telling people about every single part of you, because you are much more than your physical appearance and your certain conversations. You're much more than that. You've got so many limiting beliefs, you've got so many goals, dreams, achievements, your past, your trauma that is hold on to you, your life. You are the one who has completely lived your life, so only you can define it. Because see, if I haven't tried out all pizzas of the world, how can I say that every single pizza is amazing? I cannot say that, because I don't know it completely. So other person who does not know me entirely cannot define me. Only I can define myself. I give the definition of how my life is and how it is going to turn out to be, because I have the controller. So stop letting people define you. Listen to all people. Of course, I say this, that don't be rude to people, because as I said, learning can come in any way possible. God can give you a learning in any sort of person, situation, even your dark pasts or your traumas or whatever hurt you in the past. It may have got a learning through it. So listen to people, what they're trying to say, because what they're trying to communicate, because that there may be a lesson for you in there. But don't let that define you. You get to choose for your life. Just because somebody is saying, oh, that outfit doesn't suit you, you are not saying, okay, it doesn't suit me. You choose for yourself. This was just an example, a physical example basically, but you can I can bring up so many examples for your mental situations as well, and you have to try to think of it on your own and realize that you have to observe, not absorb. So stop putting people's opinion on a pedestal and listen to all but choose for yourself. That is when you're fully detached. When you listen to all but you choose for yourself, you're detached from any expectations, any dependency, and any external validation, and even comments that people make, right? Actions in their words. Now, next thing is, it is not personal. What people say about you, what people think about you, half of the time it's not personal. There are many scenarios which we can account for, and we'll try to look at them. But first of all, it is not personal, because most of the time that person is just having a bad day, and they have this anger inside of them for their own life, because they think they're getting out of control, they're losing the controller. So they place their anger anger and frustration on other people, and they judge you, and they go out and think badly about you. They say mean things to you because they themselves are trying to let out that anger on somebody else. They cannot hold that burden inside of themselves and come to the fact that yes, they have lost the control and now they're doing nothing to regain it. Sometimes people are just projecting themselves onto you. So how people are within, if they're jealous, they'll jealous from within and they think everything is bad. They hate that people are going to gossip about them. They're insecure, then they'll project all of it onto you. They'll project their insecurities, their limiting beliefs, all of their limiting beliefs, all of their toxic traits onto you, because they can't come to face with the fact that yes, they are like that. They're running away from their own selves and they're projecting it onto somebody else. Sometimes people judge and talk mean about you because they cannot be like you. They get jealous and they start comparing how you are better than them, and that's why they want to push you down in order to push yourself up. This is the fact that they are narcissistic, as I've said in my self love video, that narcissism is when you push somebody down in order to push yourself up, right? So they're pushing you down in order, so they order for them to make them feel better about themselves. They're just trying to make themselves feel better and run away from their life, which they think is so terrible and which they're making terrible. Another reason for why people say all of these about you, because sometimes you attract people as you are, right? So if I am rude and I am mean and I gossip a lot, I'm insecure, I will attract the same kind of people. This also happens in a lot of scenarios, but this does not happen in every single scenario. As I said, there are many reasons for it. Sometimes it's a bad day, the person is facing a bad day. Sometimes it's his own projection. Sometimes they can't come to face with their problems, their own problems is projected onto you. And sometimes you are just attracting like-minded people like you, basically. So if I am myself jealous, I will attract that kind of people and I will sit with them. So that's why I said observe, not absorb. I'm repeating this again and again because there's a concept, I've heard it somewhere and I've read it in some book, where you tend to sometimes attract the people that you are of. So if you yourself are toxic, you will attract toxic people in your life. So that is why focus on your growth and focus on becoming better, and how you can kill all of your negative things, right? Your weaknesses, and just become your highest self every single day. Show up as your highest self every single day. And sometimes people judge just for the purpose of judging. They want to fit in, they want to gossip with people, and they just want to fit in. I know I did that many years back in my life. I used to do this all the time, because when if I wanted to fit in, I would start judging some other person even though I did like them. And I know this was awful, and that's why I needed to stop doing it. And now I feel like I don't have that sort of toxicity within me, where I'm dreading other people's life and I'm having the fear of missing out, all of that things. So to come to conclusion, people's personal opinion do not define you. Everybody can have some, as I said, this is another reason why people talk bad about you or just they're mean to you, right? Because sometimes people just have their personal opinions. You cannot do anything about them. You cannot end up changing anybody's opinion, because if somebody has to change, they need to have that desire for change within themselves. You cannot go out and stop making somebody talk bad about you. You can never do that. So stop even trying. Stop trying to justify yourself at every single point, because you. If you know that you did nothing wrong, if you know that you are not that kind of person, why would you let some external opinion define you? If you know you are not like that, if somebody comes up to you and says that you have pink hair even though you have brown hair, will you get offended by that? No. Because if somebody says like your pink hair is looks awful, you will not get offended by that, because you know you don't have pink hair, you instead have brown hair. So it's the same concept over here as well. It's just that it's done mentally, so people find it difficult, people find it hard to control what their mind is thinking, because there is a negative weak part of ourselves, right? Everybody has two parts, a good part and a bad part. You have to choose every single day which part you tend to act on, right? And there's no bad in accepting the fact that yes, there's a bad inside of you. It's all right, everybody has them, everybody has weaknesses. It's your choices that define you furthermore. Now, the next point is, which world is controlling which world? When you let somebody else define you, as I said, if somebody says your pink hair is awful, just think about the fact that which world is controlling which world. If you get hurt about the thing what somebody else says, if you get hurt by people's actions and words, of course you'll feel bad. So let it all out. But then just think to yourself, which world is controlling which world? Is somebody else's world controlling my own world? Have I given the control away? And if you have given that away, take back your power. Take back your power and realize that it is your mind that gets to control everything, because you have the control over your own life. Everybody does. And you get to have control of that, and you get to choose how you want your life to be and how it should be right now. Whenever you start to get hurt by what people are saying about you, think about you, judging you, gossiping, rumors, all of that sort of stuff, take it out. Yes, always let out your emotions. Don't keep it them inside of you, or else you'll form grudges, and those grudges will kill you from the inside. So let it all out, and then ask yourself, which world is controlling which world? This is my life, and I get to have control of it, fully control. And the last point that I want to say is, the world doesn't end. If somebody judges you or somebody talks bad about you, they spread rumors about you, they say something that hurts you so bad, remember, the world doesn't end. The world doesn't end there. Life is so big, and you get to define yourself. You get to change your life at every single point when you do not seem to like where it is going, when it does not seem to serve you anymore. And you have the power to change that person. You have the power to you know push that person away from your life, because you have the control of your own life. And remember, the world doesn't end when somebody says something bad about it to you or makes you hurt. They'll get their own karma. You let them carry on with their life as how it is. You decide how your life is going to be out. And to be honest, it is everybody's first time living life, right? We don't have any past memories on who we were, how, what kind of lifetimes we had, how many rebirths, what the learning we took. This is a fresh start for every single body, and nobody knows what they're doing. They're here to learn, and they're here to fulfill their purpose. So, if you have not achieved all of what you want, you do not have the right to judge people, because it is their first time too, and it is your first time doing life as well. So these were all the points that I want to discuss. All these points that I've mentioned, try to practice them every single day, and just establish these beliefs in your mind as like rooted beliefs, right? Your core beliefs. And this is how you will practice detachment, when you know all of these things and you apply it in every single area of your life. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned something or the other from this video. You're worthy, you're blessed. I'll see you all next week. Till that, remember to just relax.